Please be seated. Let me proceed on established protocol and say, my brothers and sisters, for those who have studied geography, we have shorter days and longer nights, and so the sun will fall quicker than it normally does, and we still have the shortcut things to do. So let me just be very brief in what I have to say. I'm very happy to be here for the 65th anniversary of this great school. A few weeks ago, the headmaster and some of the masters of the teachers of the school and several of the old students visited me in my home in Accra and presented an invitation for me and the First Lady to be here today to join you for the 65th anniversary celebration of our dear school. This morning, we had to go and join our Executive Secretary, Dr. Callistus Mahama, at the funeral of his mother in Salaga. And that's why we arrived a bit late, and that's why we are pressed for time. But I'll just say a few words to mark the 65th anniversary. I arrived at the gates of Ganasco in 1971. Having finished Achimota Primary, I came a bit disappointed because I had wanted to join my colleagues and my friends that I had made in primary school in continuing to Achimota. And then when my dad decided that we should come to school in the north, my desire was to join my brothers in Damasco because my brother Peter and Alfred had taken the lead into Damasco. But I came a bit late, and Damasco said their school was full. Unfortunately, that was their loss. And that they couldn't take any more students. And so, Mr. Mahama, that was my father, Mr. E.A. Mahama, there's another school on the Salaga Road called Ghana College. Go and try there. If you go quickly, you might get a space for your son. And so, I came here very little, and the headmaster was Mr. Ajete or something. Those of you who are my age group. Mr. Ofori. The headmaster was Mr. Ofori. And so they made me sit downstairs in the common room, teacher's common room. My father went up and went and spoke to Mr. Ofori. I was hoping that Ofori too will reject and then say, okay, then you have to go back to Accra to Achimota. Mr. Ofori came down with my father smiling and said, young man, we have a space for you. And so here is your admission letter, report to school on this date. The rest is history. That's how I became a Ganascan. But for many of you, you don't know the history of how Ghana has advanced in education. During the colonial period, the northern part of this country was considered a pool of labor and also a good source of material for the army and the security services. And so the colonial government deliberately restricted the number of schools in the north because it said if all northerners go to school, they won't have enough labor to work in the mines and the cocoa farms. And so it happened that by the time Ghana gained independence, the North had the fewest secondary schools in the whole of Ghana. And it was not only in the North, there were parts of the South that also did not have access to secondary education. So our visionary first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, established what he called the Ghana Education Trust Schools. And if you see those schools, you will notice that the architecture is all the same wherever you go. They have the same blocks, science block, administration block. Their blocks are all the same. And so he established the Ghana Education Trust schools. And among the schools that were built all over the country, the initial number were about 37 secondary schools at once were built. And Ghana Secondary School happened to be one of them. It was completed and opened to students in 1960. And I arrived here in 1971, so it means that the school was only 11 years old when I entered its doors. And when I came, I was posted to Cabral House. And I rose to become Cabral House Prefect. And so we spent 5 lovely years in Ganasco. Now at that time, Ganasco didn't have a sixth form. We had only O-level. And so our brilliant students, when they completed Ganasco, used to be poached and sent to Tamasco to go and continue their A-level education. It was a headmaster of blessed memory, Alhaji B. Fusheni, who established the sixth form. And when he said he was going to establish a sixth form for Ganasco, nobody thought it was possible. He managed to get the school books. He built a brand new sixth form block. He expanded the laboratories and did a lot of work. And so when we finished Form 5, we didn't know whether Ganasco was going to be able to enroll, to get the charter to enroll sixth formers. But lo and behold, Alhaji B. Fusheni went to Accra, and all his students who had completed Form 5, who had passed for sixth form, he didn't mind which school you chose. He went and took all our sixth form cards, much to the annoyance of some. Some wanted to go to Mfansipim, some wanted to go to some big names, sixth form schools. He collected all our forms and brought all of us to Ganasco. And that is how myself, Dr. Alassane Yakubu, Asaga, and so many of our colleagues ended up doing our sixth form here in Ganasco. So Ganasco is a great school. We completed twice, so they say we should use our O-level as our year of completion. Otherwise, some of us have 76 and we have 78. But the 76-year group, I shout out to all of you. Are you here? Beatrice Opoku and all of them, Margaret Dua, and so many others, too many to mention. I want to thank you very much. You've already been told that Ganasco has produced great leaders. At one of the times when I was deputy minister and minister, and even when we were in opposition after the year 2000, Ganasco was a secondary school that had the largest caucus in Ghana's parliament. There were more Ganascans in parliament than any school in the country. I'm not talking about Tamale. I'm talking of the country. Ganasco had the largest number of old students in Ghana's parliament. But we know that our school faces many challenges. At the time we were students in this school, we were just about 400 of us. Today you are 10 times that number, 4,500. When the headmaster said it, I was shocked. But the facilities have not expanded too much beyond what they were when we were there. So you can understand that there's a lot of pressure on the infrastructure. And so even though Ganasco is considered a Category A school because of your performance, I do believe that Ganasco is in need of expansion and more infrastructure and to make it worthy of being called a Category A school. So on the occasion of this 65th anniversary, we're going to cut short for several things. But I remember that on the 60th anniversary, we did our bits and renovated Manzava and Cabral halls. And by the auspices of Lordina, the First Lady, she got the GET Fund to build the Lordina Mahama Hall, which managed to expand the number of girls in Ganasco. And so we need to invest more to consolidate Ganasco's position as a Category A school. And that means that we must build more accommodation for both staff and students. When I was entering your campus, I saw the master's bungalows to the left, and they really look an eyesore. We must provide new accommodation for our staff. I can feel how it is because I lived there myself. After I finished university, I came to give back to my alma mater what it had given to me. And so I came here to do my national service. And I lived in one of those low-cost bungalows. And so I think the time has come for us to expand our staff accommodation. We also must expand accommodation for students in terms of hostel blocks. And I think the Minister of Education has announced that we're going to build a brand new boys' dormitory. That won't be the end. We're going to build additional dormitories